little personal story. My niece was born December 1st, 1983, and I was a 19-year-old uncle that didn't understand my sister was getting a nasty divorce with a child. Fast forward to 2009, my niece had come out to me, and I knew she was gay, and I loved her like my own daughter. And it wasn't until I met her partner, and her partner heard about what happened in Fort Worth, that it really hurt me, because she really didn't care to meet me. All she read were the blogs. And it took me a while to explain the positive energy that came from such a catastrophic incident. And I have to thank so many. John Nelson, you're like a brother to all of us in the city, and Tom Annable. I never will forget the first instant I met Tom. He was not happy at all. But what a passionate leader. To answer the question about training, the best thing that this did is we now walk into a recruit class and I can introduce our liaison when Sarah, on our very first class, and talk about her history and say, and Sarah's a lesbian. And every recruit goes, what did he just say? But it increased our focus that we have to advance the service expectations of every citizen and visitor and resident. So this opened up a first ever that I know of in the state of Texas, a deaf and hard of hearing summit, where we started hearing from them how aggressive we were on traffic stops and family violence calls, and we didn't understand their frustration and inability to communicate. We've opened up more advanced training in every segment of minority. We have placed placards on cars where officers speak Spanish, so the residents, illegal, legal or not, can come up and ask an officer for directions. So this was a catalyst to make us so much more professional. And it was really hot in that little chair I was sitting in during the because I was angered like many of you were, but no one knows this. About 2 to 3 months before this incident occurred, we had an extremely catastrophic tasing death. And I was heavily criticized because I never said a word about it. And I really refrained from any public comment. So this time, when I tried to make public comment, I sounded like an absolute ass. And I apologize if I offended you. But you will not put me on the spot with any question. I absolutely love my job and I love to serve the community.
I know you have an open lesbian officer. Do you also have open gay men officers, sir?
Yes, we do. In fact, it was amazing. July 12th, I never, ever will forget that council meeting because I had my eyes open to so many things, but I had 3 of our officers come up to me and pull me on the sleeve and say, "Hey, Chief, thank you for being here. I'm gay." And I thought, wow, this is amazing. And now we have it. It's totally open, and I have not heard of any retribution, retaliation, but cops are the most mean-spirited, practical jokers in the world, but they take it and understand it, and there's a significant respect that has elevated in the organization that we're very proud of as a department. Yes, ma'am?
I was just going to ask, do you have in place, or can you see any way that you can work with other communities to tell them what's happened here and how you have broadened your perspective and made an attempt to address these situations that you had here?
Yes, ma'am, and I have to thank Fairness Fort Worth, especially Tom Annable, if Tom would like to explain. We actually have a panel summit sponsored by the White House that's coming here on Tuesday morning. It'll be an all-day summit, and it's that first exposure, other than many panels I sit on across the nation. When Atlanta occurred, I believe it was 3 months after ours, August 10th, or 10 weeks. When that occurred, the next day their chief called me and said, "Jeff, help me. I am at a loss." And because I helped him, he navigated a very tough incident as an interim acting chief. George Turner, super nice guy, and at the time their outgoing chief basically said, "I don't want any part of this," and gave it off to the number 2 in command. But we did get to help them, and I'm an open book. All they have to do is email me or call me. And I really do thank the attorney in New York City. I have no idea what his name is, but I saved his emails. We got into an all-out battle on email. And when it was done, he sent me a gift card to Starbucks. But the gift he sent me was milk, the DVD. And he goes, Chief, your learning is not over. Here's your homework assignment for the day. We actually had a very, very professional engagement, and we still, about once a year, I get an email from him just saying, hey, keep your chin up. I'm hearing good things about you. That's really nice to hear. Go ahead, Robert. I'm sorry.
I would also like to add a little bit of a tidbit you reminded when you said the White House. Actually, the Office of the White House has expressed interest already to see the film. So has the Department of Justice. So I'm very excited to get that off to them.
With the recent violences in Dallas, the beating of the 2 men in Dallas, do you have any information on hate crimes in Fort Worth since 2009 against the gay community?
Yes, sir, and I thank Tom Annable because we did have one. And the minute it occurred, there was a lack of investigative follow-up and then the diligence that was done. And days, if not hours, Tom was on the phone with us. But I think that was the only one that I've heard of, Tom. Is that correct?
The only one we know.
Yeah, that's the only one we know of. And even though that one has occurred, what is, I think, positive for us is our officers now have a deeper commitment and an understanding to be more sensitive than they've ever been in any other organization. And they listen better now. Instead of taking that strong, rough, get out of my way, I'm the cop stance, they actually sit, listen, and can understand what has occurred instead of just the facts, ma'am. So that's a huge change for us.
Just take a few more questions about the production of the film.
I have a question for him that I had like a while back.
Okay.
You don't mind?
We'll do one more question for Chief Halstead and let him get back to it.
Okay. As a bisexual woman who was 16 years in the military, I just want to say thank you for all that you're doing. Hopefully the military is going to change, but I just want to say thank you because things actually change for other organizations when people like you stand up. And I know it wasn't easy for you to do, so I just want to say that.
You're welcome, and thank you for serving in our country.